In recent years, we've been seeing data usage skyrocketing, and alongside this, customer expectations for reliable connectivity are increasingly putting pressure on the telecoms industry. So how do digital infrastructure players rise to the challenge? To discuss this, I'm delighted to be joined in the studio today by Martijn Blanken, the Chief Executive of EXA Infrastructure. Hi Martijn, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Yanni. Thank you for having me.
So first off, what is EXA's ambition and mission 18 months since launching?
Well, EXA was launched 18 months ago, and it is the result of a divestment of a company called GTT, which sold its telecom infrastructure assets. And we rebranded the company into EXA Infrastructure. But some of the viewers may know some of the predecessors like Interroute or Hibernia Networks or KPN International. All these terrestrial and submarine assets have been put together in this company. And when we launched, we aspired to become the undisputed leader in the pan-European and transatlantic data center to data center connectivity business. So basically, we're building the backbone of the internet, or the backbone of the digital economy, if you will. And in order to achieve that ambition, it is very important for us that we not only expand the capacity of our existing networks, but that we also expand the coverage of our networks and go into areas where our customers want to go in the years to come.
And how is EXA expanding its network to meet the increasing data traffic in Europe?
Well, basically, there are two ways to do it. Firstly, as I mentioned, we should continuously light more fibers on existing routes to meet the ever-increasing demand from our customers. But secondly, we're expanding the network into areas where we haven't been before. For example, if you look at a place like Lisbon and the Lisbon area like Sines, a lot of the Western Africa and South American cables land in that area, and only a small portion of that traffic that rides on these cables has the Iberian Peninsula as the termination destination. The vast majority of the traffic carries on to other places in Western Europe, Paris, Frankfurt, London, Amsterdam, and we aspire to take that traffic, pick it up in the Lisbon area and take it to Western Europe. These investments we do speculatively, but other investments we secure the backing of one or multiple anchor tenants. And basically what they do is guarantee part of the capital that is required to expand the network, whether it be submarine in Europe or terrestrially. And in doing so, we not only densify our network, but we also allow more resilience and more security for our customers. So they're not really dependent on one or a limited number of routes, but they have different routes to get from A to B.
And how is EXA ensuring it serves its customer growth plans and connectivity across Europe and North America?
Well, obviously, you start with the customers and you listen very carefully to what their plans are. Many of the workloads that currently sit in private or public clouds, the usage obviously itself continues to grow, but these workloads tend to shift closer to the end user. And that means that traditionally, many of these workloads were in the so-called flap markets, Frankfurt, London, Amsterdam, and Paris, or D if you include Dublin as well. And you see that many of these workloads start to move south, east, and north. And that means that we need to expand our network footprint and densify our network footprint in Southern Europe, Eastern Europe, and the Nordics. And that's exactly what we are doing. And since the launch 18 months ago, we've committed a considerable amount of capital to achieve just that. And it has been quite rewarding to see that we have been acknowledged for doing that by the industry. And in 2022, we received two quite prestigious awards for that achievement, which sort of illustrates that we're on the right track. There's a lot more work to do, but it's always good to get the recognition from time to time that you're on the right trajectory.
And in your view, what makes EXA stand out in the industry?
Well, there are basically three things that are important to mention. Firstly, it's the network coverage. As I said before, it's super important to go where our customers want to go. But also there are many routes from the rest of the world into Europe, from Asia, from Africa, South America and North America. And we'd like to make sure that our network is able to pick up the traffic wherever it hits that geography. So network coverage is very, very important. And I think we are already the company with the most extensive network footprint in Europe and across the Atlantic. Secondly, it's the quality of the services that one provides. And that is to a large extent a function of the underlying network as well. So if you provide a wavelength service or an Ethernet service to a customer and it breaks down, if you also own and operate the underlying fibers, you are less dependent, or if not dependent at all, on third parties, and you are able to deliver and restore these services far more quickly than if you would be dependent on third parties. And the third component is the ease of doing business, and that's where our people come into play. We've put a lot of emphasis on introducing a culture that is compelling for our people to not only to join but to be here, to continue to develop. And we really encourage our people to think bolder, to connect further and to grow faster. That is a mindset that we really want to bring to life, and that everyone who works at EXA or interacts with EXA knows that they can expect a mindset that constantly thinks around these three themes, and that will help us to become a company that is the easiest to do business with in the industry.
So what is the focus for EXA Infrastructure going forward?
Well, two things are very important for us. Firstly, it's a continuation of the previous theme to expand our network. And Eastern Europe is very high on the list of priorities, together with expanding our coverage in the Atlantic Ocean. So we will be making some additional investments in those areas as well. But secondly, we are focusing more and more on specific industry segments, even though the services that we provide are to some extent commoditized. It is very important that you give them a specific twist so they become more meaningful to, for example, customers in the financial services industry or in the cloud content and technology sector, or the governmental services, for example. So you will see us focus more on those industry-specific solutions as well.
Sounds like exciting times are coming for EXA, and it's great to hear your insights on this topic today. Thank you very much for joining us, Martin.
Thank you, Yanni. Thank you for having me.